Professor Velthar's crystalline form shimmered with anticipation as she addressed her xenobiology class at the prestigious Galactic Academy. Her voice, translated through universal communicators, carried across the amphitheater to students from dozens of species. "Today, we begin our most challenging assignment," she announced, her bioluminescent patches pulsing slowly. "You will study the homeworlds of various species to understand how environment shapes evolution. One group will be assigned the most peculiar case in our database. Zix'ara, a Thraxian with 6 eyes and chitinous blue skin, raised one of her 4 arms. "Professor, which world would that be?" "Earth," Velthar replied, causing a ripple of nervous chittering throughout the class. "The 3rd planet from Sol, homeworld of the species humans." Keth, a tall, gray-skinned Vailian, leaned forward with interest. His species was known for their analytical minds and cautious nature. "Is it true what they say about that place? That it's classified as a Class 12 Deathworld?" "Indeed," the professor confirmed. "The highest classification we have. Your assignment is to discover why." The group selected for the Earth study consisted of 4 students: Zix'ara, Keth, a crystalline silicate named Qorth, and Pip, a small, furry Felixian whose species resembled what humans might call a cross between a cat and a teddy bear. They gathered in the research lab, surrounded by holographic displays and data terminals. "Let's start with the basics," Keth suggested, pulling up Earth's planetary data. "Standard G-type star, appropriate distance for liquid water, nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere. It doesn't look that threatening." Pip's whiskers twitched nervously. "My cousin studied humans once. She said they're absolutely terrifying. They call themselves omnivores and consume other living beings for sustenance." "Lots of species do that," Zix'ara pointed out, though her chitinous plates shifted slightly, a sign of unease among her kind. Qorth's crystalline body resonated with a low harmonic. "Perhaps we should examine their evolutionary history. That often reveals the true nature of a species." As they delved deeper into the data, their initial confidence began to waver. Earth's history was a catalog of catastrophes that would have ended civilization on any other world multiple times over. "Look at this," Keth whispered, his skin turning a darker shade of gray. "Ice ages, volcanic eruptions that blocked out their sun for years, asteroid impacts that eliminated entire species, and yet life not only survived but thrived." "It gets worse," Zix'ara added, her multiple eyes scanning different data streams simultaneously. "Their planet regularly experiences what they call natural disasters. Earthquakes, hurricanes, tsunamis, wildfires. These events occur so frequently, they have entire governmental agencies dedicated to predicting and responding to them." Pip was trembling now, his soft fur standing on end. "They live with that constantly?" "It appears so," Qorth harmonized ominously. "And we haven't even studied the humans themselves yet." The second day of research brought even more disturbing revelations. The team had decided to focus on human physiology and behavior, thinking it might provide answers to how they survived on such a hostile world. "Their cellular regeneration rate is unprecedented," Keth reported, his analytical mind struggling to process the data. "They can lose up to 25% of their blood volume and still function. Their bones can break and heal stronger than before. Their immune systems can adapt to new pathogens in real time." Zix'ara pulled up footage from human athletic competitions. "Look at their physical capabilities," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "This human is lifting metal objects weighing 3 times his body mass. This one is running at speeds that would require emergency medical intervention for most species." "That's nothing," Pip squeaked, having overcome his initial fear enough to contribute to the research. "Watch this." He displayed footage of human endurance events. "They can run for 26.2 of their distance units without stopping. Some of them do it for fun." Qorth's harmonic shifted to a deeper, more troubled frequency. "I found something even more disturbing. Observe their response to physical damage." The crystal being displayed medical footage of humans recovering from various injuries. The alien students watched in horrified fascination as humans walked on prosthetic limbs, functioned with artificial organs, and returned to normal activities after surgeries that would be fatal to most species. They replaced their failing parts, Keth observed, his skin now almost black with distress. Like machines. No, Zix'ara corrected, her multiple eyes fixed on the data. Not like machines. Machines break down and stay broken. These humans adapt, overcome, and become stronger. They're like the planet itself. Pip had discovered something else. Look at their response to their environment. They don't just survive the Deathworld, they've conquered it. They've built cities in deserts where temperatures can kill, in Arctic regions where water freezes solid, on islands surrounded by violent seas. Impossible, Qorth harmonized. No species should be able to. But they have, Keth interrupted, pulling up images of human settlements. They live at the bottom of their oceans, at the tops of their highest mountains, in regions with active volcanoes. They've even left their planet and established colonies in the vacuum of space. The more they learned, the more incomprehensible humans became. These beings didn't just survive a death world. They thrived on it, sought out its challenges, and somehow turned adversity into strength. We need to understand their psychology, Zix'ara declared. There has to be something in their mental structure that explains this madness. Day 3 of their research into humanity proved to be the most unsettling yet. As the alien students delved into human psychology and culture, they began to understand that the real source of humanity's terrifying nature wasn't their physiology. It was their minds. They seek out danger, Pip reported, his small form huddled in the corner of their study pod. Voluntarily, they have entire industries built around activities that could kill them. Qorth displayed holographic images of humans engaging in what their data labeled as extreme sports. The crystalline beings' harmonics were barely audible with distress. They throw themselves from great heights with only fabric to slow their fall. They descend into caves deep underground where they could become trapped. They climb sheer rock faces using only their appendages. It's not just individuals, Keth added, his gray skin now permanently darkened with worry. Their entire species seems to share this death wish. Look at their exploration history. The data they uncovered painted a picture of relentless expansion. Humans had sailed across violent oceans in primitive vessels, trekked across deadly deserts, and explored frozen wastelands, all before they had technology that made such journeys safe. Zix'ara's chitinous plates were now in constant motion, a sign of extreme agitation. They describe it as curiosity and adventure-seeking behavior, she reported. But look at what they're curious about. The deepest parts of their oceans, the most violent weather phenomena, the most dangerous predators on their planet. They study tornadoes by driving directly into them, Pip whispered. They observe active volcanoes by climbing down into the craters. They document their most dangerous predators by swimming with them. But the most disturbing discovery was yet to come. Qorth had been analyzing human historical records and made a connection that chilled the alien students to their cores. I believe I understand now, the crystal being harmonized slowly. The reason humans are so formidable isn't despite their death world. It's because of it. What do you mean? Keth asked. Their planet has been trying to kill them for millions of years, Qorth explained. Everything that didn't kill them made them stronger, more adaptable, more determined. But more importantly, it shaped their psychology. They don't just expect danger, they're bored without it. The students sat in stunned silence as this revelation sank in. Humans weren't afraid of their death world because they had never known anything else. To them, constant mortal peril was normal. Safety and comfort were the aberrations. That's why they seek out extreme challenges, Zix'ara realized. When their environment isn't trying to kill them, they get restless. They need to test themselves against something deadly. It gets worse, Pip added quietly. I found records of something called contact sports. They engage in ritualized combat with each other for entertainment. On the 4th day, the alien students made their most disturbing discovery yet. While researching human social structures and cooperation methods, They uncovered the true scope of what made Earth a death world, and what made humans so terrifying. "It's not just the planet," Keth announced, his skin now fluctuating between dark gray and black. "The other life forms on Earth are just as deadly." Pip had compiled a database of Earth's fauna that read like a catalog of nightmares. Microscopic organisms that can kill in hours. Serpents whose bite causes agonizing death. Predatory cats that can run faster than most vehicles. Ocean creatures with toxins potent enough to kill hundreds of beings. "The plants are trying to kill them too," Zix'ara added, her multiple eyes darting nervously between data streams. "Vegetation that produces deadly compounds. Trees that can explode into flames. Flowers that can cause blindness or paralysis." Qorth's harmonics had become almost inaudible. "Even their weather is alive and hostile. Electrical storms that can vaporize anything they strike. Wind formations that can level entire settlements. Precipitation that falls as solid chunks capable of causing severe injury." But the most chilling discovery was how humans had responded to this constant threat. They hadn't just adapted, they had weaponized their understanding of their death world. "Look at their military history," Keth said, displaying tactical data that made the students recoil. "They've turned everything on their planet into a weapon. They harness the same electrical forces that their storms produce. They use the same chemical compounds their plants create for defense. They've even tamed some of their predators and turned them into allies." That's impossible," Pip whispered. "No species can control the forces of nature itself." "Humans can," Zix'ara corrected grimly, "because they learned from a planet that never stopped trying to kill them. Every natural disaster became a lesson in physics. Every deadly organism became a source of new chemical knowledge. Every environmental challenge became an opportunity to develop new technology." The students were beginning to understand that humans weren't just survivors of a death world. They were its ultimate product. Evolution had created the perfect apex species for the galaxy's most hostile environment. "Professor Veldar was right to assign us this project," Qorth harmonized solemnly. "Humans aren't dangerous despite coming from a death world. They're dangerous because their death world made them the most adaptable, resourceful, and tenacious species in known space." "But there's something else," Keth said hesitantly. "I've been analyzing their expansion into space, their interactions with other species, their diplomatic records." "What is it?" Zix'ara asked. "They're not trying to conquer the galaxy," Keth revealed. "They're trying to protect it." The other students stared at him in confusion. Every human settlement, every military installation, every exploration mission. They're all positioned to defend against external threats. They've made themselves into the galaxy's immune system. "That's absurd," Pip protested. "Why would the most dangerous species in known space want to protect others?" Qorth's harmonics shifted to a more contemplative tone. "Perhaps because they know what it's like to face extinction every day. They understand the value of survival, the importance of cooperation against overwhelming odds." As the implications sank in, the alien students realized they had stumbled upon something profound. Humans weren't the galaxy's greatest threat, they were its greatest guardians, forged by a world that had taught them the true meaning of fighting for life itself. On the final day of their project, the alien students were preparing their presentation when an unexpected opportunity arose. Professor Veldar announced that a human exchange student had arrived at the academy and would be available to answer questions about their research. The 4 students approached the meeting with a mixture of terror and fascination. Everything they had learned suggested that humans were walking catastrophes, barely contained forces of nature disguised as civilized beings. The human who entered their study room was nothing like what they expected. Dr. Elena Rodriguez was of average height by human standards, with dark hair streaked with silver and kind brown eyes behind corrective lenses. She moved with an easy confidence that somehow managed to be both graceful and alert, as if she was constantly aware of her surroundings without being paranoid about them. "I understand you've been studying my homeworld," she said with a warm smile that revealed her teeth. A gesture that would be threatening in most species, but somehow seemed welcoming coming from her. Pip was the first to speak, his small voice barely audible. "Dr. Rodriguez, is it true that your planet regularly tries to kill you?" Elena laughed. a sound that made the aliens jump before they realized it was an expression of amusement, not aggression. I suppose that's one way to look at it. We prefer to think of it as challenging. Earth keeps us on our toes. But the natural disasters, Keth protested, his analytical mind struggling with her casual attitude. The predators, the diseases, the environmental hazards. How do you remain so calm? Because that's normal for us, Elena explained patiently. You see, every world shapes its children. Your worlds taught you different lessons than ours did. Earth taught us to be resilient, adaptable, and to work together against common threats. Zix'ara leaned forward with her multiple eyes focused intently on the human. We discovered that humans seek out danger voluntarily. Why do you do this? Elena considered the question carefully. Because comfort breeds complacency, and complacency can be fatal. We push ourselves because we know that somewhere out there, something is pushing back. We'd rather meet those challenges on our terms than wait for them to surprise us. Aren't you afraid? Qorth harmonized softly. Of course we are, Elena admitted. Fear is a survival tool. It keeps us alert and helps us make better decisions. The difference is that we've learned not to let fear paralyze us. Earth taught us that the only way out is through. The alien students sat in stunned silence as Elena continued. You want to know why Earth is called a Deathworld? It's not because it's unusually hostile, though it certainly is that. It's because it taught us lessons that most species never have to learn. It taught us that life is precious because it's fragile. It taught us that cooperation isn't just beneficial, it's essential for survival. It taught us that every day we wake up is a gift, because there's no guarantee we'll see another one. That's why you protect other species, Keth realized. Because you understand the value of life. Elena nodded. Every species in this galaxy represents millions of years of evolution, countless generations of struggle and adaptation. We know what it's like to almost lose everything to forces beyond our control. We wouldn't wish that on anyone. As their conversation continued, the alien students began to understand that humans weren't monsters forged by a hostile world. They were its gardeners, shaped by adversity into beings who understood the true value of life, cooperation, and perseverance. One final question, Pip asked as their session was ending. Given how dangerous your world is, do you ever wish you came from somewhere else? Elena smiled again, and this time the aliens recognized the expression not as a threat display but as something far more profound. Genuine warmth and contentment. Never, she said firmly. Earth made us who we are. It taught us that the most beautiful things in the universe are often the most dangerous, that the greatest treasures are those we have to fight for, and that home isn't just a place you come from. It's a place worth protecting. As Elena left, the 4 students sat in contemplative silence. Tomorrow they would present their findings to the class, but they knew that their research had taught them far more than just why Earth was classified as a death world. They had learned why the galaxy was lucky to have humans in it. Their presentation would conclude with a simple statement that would become famous throughout the academy. Earth isn't called a death world because it's trying to kill its inhabitants. It's called a death world because it created a species capable of facing death itself and teaching the rest of us how to live. In the end, the alien students understood that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their ability to survive their hostile homeworld. It was their determination to ensure that no other species would have to face extinction alone. The death world had created not conquerors, but guardians, forged in adversity and tempered by the knowledge that life, in all its forms, was worth protecting.